Muy buenas a todos, hoy volvemos con Dragon Age, el quinto capítulo ya, y continuamos la aventura de nuestro querido guardagris. En realidad, la última vez, si no me equivoco, lo dejamos por ahí adelante, pero quería explorar un poco acá a ver si me había dejado algo o si faltaba hacer alguna cosa. Y había dos misiones del cantor, el que solo habla con frases del hacedor, y bastante plata ofrecía, así que decidí hacerlas antes de partir. Porque de una forma u otra la plata llega a un punto como que hace mucha falta. Parece que no, pero sí. Uf, alistar allá. Creo que el sonido sigue estando un poco alto. Un poco bastante. A ver ahora. Pobre Alistar ahí está recibiendo cada palo. Le entran como en su gorro. Le ganamos a todos. No. La piedra de la vida y está pronto. Hoy voy a ver si grabo otro videito de otro juego para traer un poco más de variedad al canal porque se hace un poco monótono. A ver, me encanta este juego, pero está bueno tener dos jueguitos en el canal que puedan seguir siendo series activas. La señora está muerta. Has encontrado el cuerpo de la madre del chico y has recuperado su recuerdo. ¿Mm? Recuérdame. Y si no me equivoco, acá tiene que haber un oso, creo. No, que le estaba diciendo que otro juego no sé, para variar un poco, para que haya otra cosa que mirar. Se va a hacer más complicado porque tengo que, a ver, hay que renderizarlos ambos, subirlos, porque en realidad yo los subo a la calidad máxima que puedo. Y no es la cosa más sencilla por el tema del internet, pero se puede intentar, se puede hacer. No es algo que sea imposible. Todos muertos. Así que seguramente después de grabar esto voy a intentar grabar el otro. El problema que tenía era que necesito otro monitor. Porque ¿qué pasa? Yo ahora mismo, por ejemplo, estoy grabando y yo no sé si la grabación está yendo bien, si se está escuchando el audio bien, si... O sea, puedo estar grabando esto y capaz que no estoy grabando nada. Dirán, tabulea, fíjate. El problema que ya me pasó una vez de que se me trancó todo por alguna razón y se cerró el juego y tuve que cargar de vuelta la partida, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces prefiero jugármela, de última cargo de vuelta la partida, sería un embole porque no va a salir igual, pero está. Espero que se esté grabando todo bien. Pero en el otro juego me pasó de que intenté grabar una parte y no se estaba grabando. Y eso me frustró mucho.
Let him take notice and shine upon thee, for thou hast done his work this day. And the stars stood still, the winds did quiet, and all animals of earth and air held their breath. All was silent in prayer and thanks.
Por nada, señor. Acabo de cumplir el requisito para hacer una especialización. Acá no más nada, ¿no? No. O sea que, básicamente, se fue la fe. Acá completamos todo. Nadie nos va a no ser esa señora que pisaba trampa, al parecer. Esa que está ahí. Que no me dejó hacer nada tampoco. Vamos a ver qué es esto de la especialización. Ah, acá, mira. Cambia formas. Circulan historias de bárbaros que conocen el secreto de transformación en animales. El círculo de los hechiceros niega tales rumores, pero su extraño arte previene de los rincones olvidados de Tedas. El dominio de sus cuerpos confiere a los cambiaformas cierto grado de protección incluso en forma humana, lo cual les convierte en oponentes resistentes y en aliados inquebrantables. Espíritu sanador. No todos los entes del velo son demoníacos. Muchos son entes de benevolentes formados por energía vital que pueden ser convocados para restaurar la carne y sanar las enfermedades. El espíritu sanador es un experto a la hora de canalizar las energías de estos espíritus, lo que los convierte en miembros indispensables de cualquier grupo de aventureros. Guerrero arcano. Entre los elfos de antaño había magos que enseñaban a potenciar las capacidades marciales con sus artes mágicas. Al canalizar su poder mágico a través de sus cuerpos y armas se convierten en rivales terribles en el campo de batalla. Muchos creen que estas habilidades se han perdido para siempre, pero puede que aún previvan en algunos recónditos lugares del mundo. Los guerreros arcanos pueden aprender a usar su puntuación de magia para cumplir con los requisitos de fuerza de las armas y armaduras de alto nivel. Podría ser un mago con una armadura pesada, básicamente. Y magos de sangre. Todos los magos pueden sentir la atracción oscura de la magia de sangre. Los rituales oscuros que aprendieron de los demonios emplean el poder de la sangre para convertir la vida en maná y ofrecer a los magos el control de la mente de los demás. Pero este poder tiene un precio, pues el mago de sangre debe sacrificar su propia salud o la de sus aliados para potenciar estas habilidades. Podemos ser... Estos son como más de tanque, ¿no? Puedo transformar en un oso gigante, básicamente, o algo por el estilo. Esto sería como más un soporte, ¿no? Sería algo así. Un guerrero arcano. Podría usar armaduras más pesadas, por así decirlo, o espadas incluso. Como esta habilidad, ¿no? De potenciar la espada llameante y me pongo una super arma y uff. O un mago de sangre. Vamos a hacer magos de sangre a ver qué nos dicen. Mago de sangre. Mientras está en modo está activo, el mago de sangre sacrifica salud para limitar sus hechizos, en vez de gastar maná. Pero los efectos que curen al mago de sangre serán mucho más débiles de lo normal. Puedo cancelar aún, ¿no? Sí. ¿Qué más da? A ver. Sacrificio de sangre. El mago de sangre absorbe la fuerza vital de un aliado, lo cual... esto es como que mato a todo el mundo, ¿no? A ver el sanador. Sana el grupo. Sana el grupo, básicamente. Lo que le permite jugar a convertirse con un berserker con una... Este como que tiene más... No sé... Guerrero arcano. Magia de combate. Mientras demostrativo, el guerrero arcano canaliza la magia hacia su interior, sacrificando un incremento del cansancio a cambio de obtener una bonificación de ataque y usar su potencia de hechizos para terminar el daño de combate. Estos efectos. Ah, me gusta esta. Vamos a jugar con esta. Todavía tengo un punto. Ah, esto. Más magia. ¡Abrid el portón! Este ya es templario. Vamos a subir esto y un poco más la fuerza. Guerrero. Vamos a seguir subando esta de escudito. Para que alistarse a todo un señor del escudo. Podríamos correr un poquito todo esto para acá. Eso ya lo puedo dejar activado. Lanzamos una capa brutal que le ayuda a desviar los ataques restantes de su defensa mientras este modo esté activo. Tengo muchos modos activos, pero muy poco mana. Tendría que ponerme más mana. A ver, la próxima me tengo que acordar eso, porque si no lanzo 2 hechizos y... Adiós mana. Cristal imperfecto. Lo tomamos. Y ahora sí, continuamos nuestra aventura y nos vamos de este pueblucho. Que tenemos que ir por el árbol, supuestamente. En realidad podemos ir por quien queramos. ¿Mis compis? Tengo una ausencia de maná bastante importante.
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged.
Por favor.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Roads have been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
En realidad... Podés venir conmigo, obviamente.
Complicated? Somehow I imagine that only says half of it. Thank you for the offer, but there may be more excitement on your path than is good for my boy and me. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune.
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we? We'll be off as soon as this mess is cleaned up. We'll be off as soon as this mess is cleaned up. Thank you kindly for all your assistance.
Por favor, a las órdenes. Vivo para servir al pueblo. Soy más bueno que el Pancho. Un mago de sangre. Usted, señora, iba a ser de los míos, pero no, casi. ¿Y aventurarse? Sí, claro, nos vamos. Una alfería es un barrio de una ciudad y se terminó. Los caminos de las profundidades y el archidemonio. Para los que decían que no había archidemonio, acá se los presento. Que en realidad son los sueños que tengo yo de... por ser un guardia gris, que nos contó Alistair que íbamos a empezar a tener sueños extraños. Sentir a los...
Bad dreams, huh?
Andrews.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
Uy, 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 uy.
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
Gracias, Alistair.
That's what I'm here for. To deliver unpleasant news and witty one-liners. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Oh, el campamento. Esta es la primera vez que estamos en un campamento. Acá lo que se puede hacer básicamente es charlar y hacernos amigos de nuestros coleguitas. Porque, si no se dieron cuenta, acá abajo hay como una barrita de amistad, desaprobación, ¿no? Si llega acá es porque nos detestan. Por ejemplo, con Alistair tenemos neutral, 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 aprobación neutral 0. Este nos ama, básicamente. Y neutral. Aparte de hablar con ellos, podemos darles regalitos que seguramente les gusta un montón. Vamos a ver, por ejemplo, con la Liana.
Yes. Well, here I am.
Creo que debería decirte.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell. And the darkness drew me in.
Uy.
I suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty.
Una visionaria, Leliana. Veo un montón de cosas.
In my dream, I fell, or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
Tienes razón.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop.
Qué bien, ¿eh? Me quiere, me quiere. ¿Te gustó lo que hablamos?
Yes? Well, here I
A
am.
ver si hay algo más.
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Uf, no sé cómo es eso, ¿eh?
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
De todos modos, yo no nos mire.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
Pero me gusta hablar contigo, querida
Yes?
Liliana. A ver si hay
Well,
otra cosa para charlar.
Here I am.
A ver.
What is meant by someone like me?
Alguien que no parece hecha para la vida del claustro. Ya sabes, una mujer tan hermosa como tú. Ah, turna y aburrida.
And there were no beautiful, charming women in the cloisters, you think? You would be wrong. There were many lovely young initiates in the Lothering cloister, all of them chaste and virtuous. It added to their mystique, because then they were forbidden, and forbidden fruit is the sweeter, no?
Es verdad.
Flatterer. I, however, did not take vows, and so perhaps I am not as enigmatic? The chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed. The chantry does not pride, and you should. I desired time apart from the world. I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
Le fascina lo que le estoy diciendo. Te vas a enamorar de mí, Liliana. Ojito con lo que me decís. A ver, ¿alistar?
What do you need? You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
No, pero...
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
No te preocupes.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
Te tenía a ti.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him. Yes, I know. I think he came from Hyeva, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
Estamos hablando en familia, Alistar. Vos sos como mi hermano. Podés preguntarme lo que quieras.
Yes, I imagine you really have, haven't you? Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Obvio.
I'd like that. So would he, I think.
Obvio, Alistar. Sos mi brother.
What do you need? Ask away. Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you.
¿Qué van a defender?
They're an army.
Un espada, una
The
cabeza
other main
mágica.
purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells. You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
Tiene sentido.
No, I never actually became a full Templar. Duncan recruited me before I took my vows. I was only present during one harrowing. That was all I needed, too. I don't know how anyone could get through that. The girl they tested, she had a demon put inside her to see if she could resist. And she couldn't. We had to end it quickly. I have to say I didn't have much interest in becoming a Templar after that.
Hay templarios buenos, Alistar. Vos sos uno de ellos.
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
Claro, me había olvidado. En este Dragon Age, tus aliados te pueden enseñar. Por ejemplo, si yo fuera guerrero, Alistar me podría enseñar a ser templario.
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Alistar.
What do you need?
Yo te quiero,
Ask away.
Oh,
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact. Well, if you're going to go and pay attention to the facts, then fine. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Our Lehman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old
sos
enough.
bastardo. ¿Quién era tu papá?
I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. It isn't important. Our Lehman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, the new Arlessa resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
Qué mala gente.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
Era
And
joven.
raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
De alguna forma u otra, este momento, si bien para algunos puede ser tedioso, te ayudan a conocer a tus compañeros. Si es que querés profundizar, podemos seguir la historia sin aliarnos con nadie, ni ser amigo de nadie y pasar todo. Pero creo que pierde el encanto del juego en realidad.
Oh, why you little... Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look. Don't you think I don't know it? Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Pobre perrito. Yo te amo.
I once heard a really old legend about how the hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Pobrecito.
Hey!
Ah, el perrito. Este es como el más enigmático hasta ahora, ¿no?
Why are we stopping? There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
En realidad sí.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight. No.
No.
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty. I am. I have always fought in war, human. My people have been at war since the moment we set foot in the Northern Islands.
Y... no procedes de las islas.
We do now.
¿De dónde viene?
Somewhere else. No. I was born in Seheron. Of the land we came from, I know nothing, not even its name. I do not see how this matters. Seheron and Parvolan are distant. Ferelden and the Darkspawn are immediate.
Pragmático usted, señor, ¿eh?
What a strange language you speak. You say hurry, where I would say duty. No, it is yours, and you are chatting with me instead. As you wish.
Bueno, no te enojes, ¿eh? Estoy tratando de ser amigo de todo el mundo. ¿Usted, señor?
You're a hard man to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy. Levy Dryden. Did Duncan
¿Cómo
ever
estás,
mention
Levy?
me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader? Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you
Gracias.
see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
¿Y cómo conociste a uno?
It's a bit of a tale, that is. But I'm the one who brought the Grey Wardens back to Ferelden. Well, I was one of the ones. There were a lot of us. Maker's breath, I'm a bit nervous. Honoured to be here, really. My family, well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden Commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the Wardens and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
¿Qué pasó?
Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
Muy bien, felicitaciones, ¿eh?
Our family's only crime was guarding the kingdom against the blight. We're not ashamed of that.
Muy bien, ¿eh?
Ask for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour. Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did. and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honor.
Qué bien.
Soldiers Peak are strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost Warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now. A 1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Creo que deberías dejarme ir solo, No sé, digo. Los mercaderes que se ven.
It's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Feddick, at your service, once again. I saw your camp and remember the kind offer that you made the last time we met. And is there anywhere safer for a poor merchant and his son to sleep? I think not. I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good?
Obvio.
Yes? Anything, everything, but all of the finest quality. No cheap trinkets here. And my boy Sandal happens to be a bit of a hand with enchantments. Oh, yes. Sadly, it also makes us a target for bandits and the like. If there were spare hands to hire as guards, I would have done so long ago.
Y qué mejor que quedarte con nosotros y ofrecemos un descuento, ¿no?
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Qué amable. Primero te vamos a montar toda la caca. Esto y esto. Porque esto se lo pongo al perro, pero el perro no lo voy a llevar. Oh. Las cosas de dragón. Tengo 15 monedas de oro. Así que podría comprármelo. Botas de coraza de dragón. Me falta el peto, ¿no? Ah, no, lo tengo el peto. Sí lo tengo. Y esto yo no me lo puedo comprar, obviamente. Y... a ver... se lo puedo dar al perrito. Estos son regalos, creo. Ah, están todos 0 pesos. Regalo. 0 pesos. Se me va a llenar. Una mochila. ¿Qué te vendo para desocupar espacio, no? Vende el maníaco. Esto. A ver. ¿Dónde estaban? Abajo de todo. Ah, y estos ya están. Cebolla podrida. Qué mal.
Hello. The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed. He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
Enchantment!
What do you wish of me? If you must. I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend. Oh? I truly doubt that children would be worth the effort. They are filthy, smelly things full of tears and snot and trouble. That said, I cannot speak for the tastes of my mother. She has, after all, lived a very lengthy time in the wilds and done many things I know nothing of. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know? The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess. Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. Indeed, you could learn the spells required if I cared to teach you. There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary. They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask. No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one. I'm shocked that you think so, being a mage of the circle as you were. But perhaps you felt a little like a caged bird as well, caught within that dark tower. I thought so. Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch? Oh! You're simply full of surprises, little man, aren't you? But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us. What do you wish of me? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any. I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer. Then I assume our discussion ends here.
I could get used to this, you know. Great. Super. Thanks.
No, that won't work.
I am impressed. My thanks. Do you expect me to carry this for you?
If there's anything I can do for you, please, please tell me. Well, if you're really interested, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. I am originally from Orzammar, the famed dwarven city that lies beneath the stately Frostback Mountains. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose. One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that. Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tigers, they're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure, something worth a little gold. That's exactly how I see it. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back. You're quite welcome. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you? I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Interesting. 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 Interesting.
I am impressed. My thanks.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Look, can we talk for a moment? I need to tell you something. I, should probably have told you earlier. I told you before how Al Eamon raised me, right? That my mother was a serving girl at the castle and he took me in? The reason he did that was because... well, because my father was King Marek, which made Kaelin my half-brother, I suppose. Maker's breath, I hope not. I don't think so. You don't think so, do you? I'm a bastard. And nobody even knows about me. I would have told you, but it never really meant anything to me. I was inconvenient, a possible threat to Kaelin's rule, and so they kept me secret. I'd never talked about it to anyone. Everyone who knew either resented me for it or they coddled me. Even Duncan kept me out of the fighting because of it. I didn't want you to know as long as possible. I'm sorry. Oh, good. I'm glad. It's not like I got special treatment for it anyhow. At any rate, that's it. That's what I had to tell you. I thought you should know about it. Because it will probably come up. I didn't want to walk into Redcliffe without you knowing the truth. That would be just awkward. I have no illusions about my status, however. It's always been made very clear that I'm a commoner, and now a Grey Warden, and in no way in line for the throne. And that's fine by me. Now, if there's an heir to be found, it's Al Eamon himself. He's not of royal blood, but he is Kaelin's uncle, and more importantly, very popular with the people. Though, if he's really as sick as we've heard... oh no, I don't want to think about that. I really don't. So there you have it. Now can we move on? And I'll just pretend you still think I'm some nobody who was too lucky to die with the rest of the Grey Wardens. Oh, lovely. I'm going to regret this. Somehow I just know it.
I thought I saw travelers coming down the road, though I scarcely believed it. Have you come to help us? So you don't know? Has nobody out there heard? He could be dead for all we know. Nobody's heard from the castle in days. We're under attack. Monsters come out of the castle every night and attack us until dawn. Everyone's been fighting and dying.
Apparently everyone seems to agree that a blight is the perfect time to start killing each other. Marvelous, really.
We've no army to defend us. No Arl and no king to send us help. So many are dead. And those left are terrified they're next.
Hold on, what is this evil that's attacking you?
I don't rightly know. I'm sorry, nobody does. I should take you to Ban Tegan. He's all that's holding us together. He'll want to see you.
Ban Tegan, Al Eamon's brother. He's here.
Yes. It's not far, if you'll come with me.
It's Thomas, yes? And who are these people with you? They are obviously not simple travelers.
No, my lord. They just arrived, and I thought you would want to see them.
Well done, Thomas. Greetings, friends. My name is Tegan, Ban of Rainersphere, brother to the Arl.
I remember you, Ban Tegan. Though the last time we met, I was a lot younger and covered in mud.
Covered in mud? Alistair? It is you, isn't it? You're alive! This is wonderful news.
Still alive, yes. Though not for long if Ten Loghain has anything to say about it.
Indeed. Loghain would have us believe all Grey Wardens died along with my nephew, amongst other things. So you are a Grey Warden as well. A pleasure to meet you. I wish it were under better circumstances. You're here to see my brother. Unfortunately, that might be a problem. Eamon is gravely ill. No one has heard from the castle in days. No guards patrol the walls, and no one has responded to my shouts. The attack started a few nights ago. Evil things surged from the castle. We drove them back, but many perished during the assault. Some call them the Walking Dead, decomposing corpses, returning to life with a hunger for human flesh. They hit again the next night. Each night they come, with greater numbers. With Cailan dead and Loghain starting a war over the throne, no one responds to my urgent calls for help. I have a feeling tonight's assault will be the worst yet. Alistair, I hate to ask, but I desperately need the help of you and your friends.
It isn't just up to me. Though the Grey Wardens don't stand much chance against Loghain without Arl Eamon.
How pointless to help these villagers fight an impossible battle. One would think we had enough to contend with elsewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. This means more to me than you can guess. Thomas, please tell Murdoch what transpired. Then return to your post.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, there is much to do before night falls. I put 2 men in charge of the defense outside. Murdoch, the village mayor, is outside the chantry. Sir Perth, one of Eamon's knights, is just up the cliff at the windmill, watching the castle. You may discuss with them the preparations for the coming battle. Of course. Sir Perth insists. He wants me to be with the villagers, so everyone he needs to protect is in one place. I don't mind, to be honest. The point of all this is to protect the villagers, and I can do that best here. This is the last line of defense, should things go amiss. We could bring some men in to stand beside me, but I'd rather keep the monsters away from the villagers if possible. I do not know. They seem to be walking corpses, men with rotting flesh that continue to attack even with the gravest injuries.
Undead, spirits possessing the dead. There could be several causes behind such a thing, none of them pleasant.
Hopefully we can find the source and stop it before it causes any more damage. With luck, we'll also find Eamon and be able to help him. I have those few who returned from their quest. You know of this, yes? Yes, I question Isolde's decision to send so many knights in search of this relic. But I am a practical man, whereas she is a woman of great faith. Sir Perth was one of the knights sent on this quest. Perhaps you should speak to him if you wish to learn more. Very well. Luck be with you, my friend.
I'm scared, Mother. When are the bad men coming?
Soon, darling. Don't worry. Everything will be all right.
Let us... You are a stranger amongst us. And a mage, I see. Yet you still defend our home in its darkest hour. We are grateful. Not many in these modern days would honestly say the same. You are a man of worth, and the Maker will smile upon you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am revered Mother Hannah, head of this chantry, which for the moment is a place of refuge for these poor villagers.
How awful this must be for you all. Is this everyone who's left?
All those who cannot defend themselves, yes. They are terrified of tonight's attack, and I fear these walls will not keep them safe. What can I do to help with your task? It is the sturdiest building in the village. The women, elderly, and children will stay here during the battle, while the militia and knights protect them. They set up a barricade outside the chantry to keep monsters from getting inside. If anything gets in, Ban Tegan is our only defense. Please, have mercy. Help these people. Do whatever you can. May the Maker watch over you, child.
I already told you. Father is outside defending the village from the bad men. We must
Good day.
stay here and be brave. Can you do that?
You're a Grey Warden, right? Were you in Ostagar? In the Korkari Wilds? My husband and son went there to bring the chant of light to the chastened, but I haven't heard from them since. I am. You've heard of me? I thought that might be the case. Thank you for telling me. Maker's blessings upon you.
I guess so.
I'm so scared, Father.
I'm too old.
What are we going to do? Am I bothering you?
Frustrating.
I'll try to be more quiet.
And watch the young take up arms.
Those things dragged my mother away. I don't know what happened to her, but I hear her screaming all the time. Everywhere.
How terrible, you poor thing. I wish there was something we could do to help.
And now my brother Bevan, he ran off. I don't know where he is. I'm so scared they got him too. He said something about saving Mother. He's just a little boy. He doesn't understand she's gone.
If he has foolishly run off, then he is no doubt dead. You should get used to that fact.
Nice. Maybe you want to kick her in the head while you're at it.
Shall we comfort her with lies? If she is to face death, better she face it honestly.
I hope he didn't try to go to the castle. Oh, that would be awful. I understand, I do. I'm just so afraid for him.
Silence, girl. Do you want the children to hear you?
But night is coming. The monsters will return and we sit here and wait for them.
We have no choice.
Ah, fresh air. It was difficult to breathe within with all that sun.
You know, we don't have the men we need. And their numbers just keep growing each night.
Hope you know what you're doing.
Sure, they take the dead and they... Still no sign of them coming back from the castle, Murdoch.
Tell them to maintain watch. I don't want a surprise attack before the sun goes down.
Yes, sir. What should we do until then?
Pray.
Go away. This isn't your home. This is my home. My home, you hear me? How do you know my name? Oh, are you here to take me back to the Chantry? Please don't. I hate it. I know, but I don't want to be in the Chantry. Everybody's scared. But they tell me I shouldn't be scared. And they tell me I shouldn't be sad that Mother died. I don't want to be sad. I'm brave. I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to fight them off. I will. No. I just heard you coming and I guess that's not very brave of me, is it? I'll come out now. All right, I came out. You won't hurt me, will you? I'll go back to the Chantry if you really want. I just didn't want to be at the Chantry anymore. Everyone's scared, and I want to be brave. I can't tell you. It's a secret. You could. All right, I guess. Father said I could have his sword when I grew up. It was Grandfather's, and Grandfather was a great dragon slayer. I thought, if I was brave like Grandfather, I could use his sword and kill the bad people who took Mother. Thank you, sir. But the sword is too heavy for me. I guess I'm not as strong as someone like you. That doesn't help us now. Caitlin says everyone's going to die tonight. Really? You must be very brave. I wish I was like you. In the chest, in Mother's room, Father gave me a key, but I'm not supposed to give it to anyone. But I can't give it to you. It was Father's. Caitlin would be so mad if I did. But oh, alright. I guess. She'll be pretty mad at me. But I'll go.
It has begun. Very well.
Wonderful. Intruders. I hope you have a good reason for breaking and entering into my home. You know what? In the interest of keeping my face from bursting into flame, I think I will. The name's Dwyn. Pleased to meet you. Now, kindly tell me why you're here. Surviving. We have supplies to last for quite some time. And my boys and I can swing a weapon better than any of those fools out there. Why? When did this town ever rush to my rescue? You look more than competent. With you out there, they don't really need me, do they? Thanks. But I'll take my chances in here. Everyone else can run around in the open waiting to die. Maybe. Let's hear what you've got. And what good would that do me? The Jarl's probably dead, and I couldn't care less what Tegan thinks of me. What else you got? Are you serious? I won't even stick my head out my door for less than 100 silvers. Do I look like an elf? I'm not that cheap. It's 100, or it's no deal. You're getting off easy there. But like you say, I guess this town needs a hero. You better be out there too when the sun goes down. I'm not fighting for a lost cause, you hear me?
As you say.
Stop fidgeting. So you're the Grey Warden, are you? I heard they all died with the king. Could be that I did. We aren't gonna turn aside anyone who wants to help, though. Don't take me for being an ingrate or nothing.
Well, we do want to help however we can. You can trust us.
Name's Murdoch, mayor of what's left of the village, providing we aren't all killed and hauled off to the castle tonight. I hope you're right. I've been trying to hold us together, but it isn't easy. Anyhow, you're here, and they tell me you're in charge.
We need what little armor and weapons we got repaired, and quickly, or half of us will be fighting without either. Owen's the only blacksmith who can do it, but the stubborn fool refuses to even talk. If we're to be ready for tonight, we'll need that crotchety bastard's help. His daughter, Valena, is one of the Alessa's maids, so he hasn't heard from her since this whole business started. He demanded we attack the castle, break down the gate, and force our way in. I said it was impossible, but he wouldn't listen. He's locked himself in the smithy now. I can't force him to do repairs. He said he'd rather die first. I'd appreciate it. If he doesn't help, he'll die like the rest of us. What good will that do anyone then?
I don't like being out here, Dwin. The mayor's giving me the evil eye.
Well, he should.
We don't understand why we're out here.
We're out here because I say we're gonna help these people. And since I pay your wages, you're gonna do as I say.
Oh, sure, boss. Whatever you say.